Lesson 2, the state of the state. Let's talk about this thing called the state. Not a state like Alabama, Texas, or Ohio. We're talking about something bigger than that. The state of the state. The state is a body of people living in a defined space with the power to make and enforce laws without having to check with any higher authority and with an organization to do this. You can tell from the definition that there are 4 key features of a state. What are they? Population, a body of people, territory, living in a defined space, sovereignty, with the power to make and enforce laws without having to check with any higher authority, government, and with an organization to do this. The definition of population is people who are members or citizens of a state. The size of the population doesn't matter. Population has a big influence on the type of government chosen by the state. Is the population rural or urban? What do people do for jobs? Do people get along or disagree on basic issues? The definition of territory is the area in which a state's rule applies. A state must have set boundaries, but they are not always agreed on. Boundaries can change in 3 ways. War, people win or lose territory. Negotiation, people agree to trade territory. Purchase, states can buy territory from other states. Sovereignty. Wait, where did the word sovereignty come from? Sovereignty is just a big word that means a state has the ability to rule within its borders as it chooses. Remember the definition of state? It says, with the power to make and enforce laws without having to check with any higher authority. Now that we know that's sovereignty, the definition is the ability to rule absolutely within a given territory. Because of sovereignty, states can set their own foreign policy and agendas. States are all equal in theory, but in reality, that isn't always the case. The definition of government is the organization that makes and enforces the laws. Government has many roles that all involve making the public policy, but there are 4 main ways their governing affects the public. The first role of government is keeping order. This means making and enforcing laws is all a part of keeping order in society. Structures like the police force and court system are in place to enforce the laws and settle disputes. The second role is protecting the country. The government is responsible for defending the territory of the state. Security organizations like the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Defense are established to protect citizens. Treaties and alliances are formed within other countries to help keep our citizens safe. The third role of government is providing services. The government is responsible for providing basic services. These include postal services, libraries, road repairs, garbage collection, building bridges and schools. The government is also responsible for providing basic services, programs for people who need help buying food, welfare, medical services. The fourth role of government is making economic decisions. The government makes decisions every day about how it spends money. The government also makes decisions about how our economy is going to function. Most public policy set by the government has to do with how money is spent. So by that definition of state, the United States is just one big state. Figure it out. Is the United States just one big state? Does it have a population? Does it have a territory? Does it have sovereignty? Does it have government? The answer to each of these questions is yes. What about states like Connecticut or Georgia? Are they states? Do they have a population? Do they have a territory? Do they have sovereignty? Do they have government? The answer to each of these questions is yes. However, states can't make laws that go against the U.S. Constitution. They have a higher authority above them. Figure it out. What 4 things does the government do? Keeps order, protects the country, provides services, makes economic decisions. Let's take a mini quiz, kiddos, and see what you've learned. If there are less than 50,000 people, it can't be considered a state. Yes or no? No. Monaco has less than 40,000 people. Size doesn't matter. The boundaries of a territory can change. Yes or no? The answer is yes. Think about the 3 ways that boundaries can change. Sovereignty means that you have to check with someone above you. The answer is no. Just the opposite. Sovereignty means there is no one above you. Government only exists to keep order and provide security. The answer is no. Think about the 4 roles of government. The 50 states that make up the USA are not considered independent states internationally. Yes or no? The answer is yes. That's right. They don't have full sovereignty. Great job. What next? Take the time to go back and review the lesson on your own. After your review, complete the lesson review for the lesson and submit for grading. Remember, your submission should follow all the rules for standard written English.